Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bishop, I'm happy to write you a poem, if you like.
I can't wait.
But, you know, I want to go back to something you say, which is some memo or whatever, that all we want to do is talk about Donald Trump. The fact of the matter is that this committee, which may go down as one of the most useless and worthless subcommittees ever created by Congress, is called the weaponization of the federal government. And the reason we all know now that this was created and stood up is that the Republicans are trying to flip the script and to distract from the fact that the true weaponization of the federal government with evidence and facts and support was done by Donald Trump and his administration and will be done by Donald Trump and any future administration. Now, this also goes back to 2016 and the fact that Special Counsel Robert Mueller, the unanimous opinion of the intelligence community, pretty much everyone who looked at this concluded that Russia used false information on social media to interfere in our 2016 election. And the problem the Republicans want to rebut and undermine and distract from is that they did so to help Republican candidate. And so if you attack the Democrats as the real weaponizers of the federal government, then you get to flip the script and turn it on the Democrats and say, oh no, they are, and get to continue doing and opening up the avenues for additional real weaponization of the federal government. Now, Mr. Lukianoff, do you think there is a First Amendment right to distribute deepfakes online?
Is there a First Amendment right to distribute deepfakes online? Of course there is.
Okay. Now, do you think that there's a First Amendment right to distribute deepfakes online with the intent to interfere in an election?
If you add additional steps to it, it can potentially be criminal. Sure, but to create them and distribute them.
I'm not even going to waste our time getting into this because what you have just highlighted and agreed to is that this is a very difficult issue. The balance between the First Amendment and what is free speech and what is...
Respectively, Congressman,
you don't seem to be taking it seriously
at all.
Sir, I didn't ask a question.
You said this was a useless hearing.
I didn't ask you a question, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to reclaim my time.
The gentleman has the time.
That the problem that we are facing in the post-2016 world where social media is used as a weapon to interfere in elections from foreign governments is that this is a difficult thing to navigate, that balancing the First Amendment, which all Democrats support, but the First Amendment is not absolute. There's obviously some speech that is not protected, and balancing the interests of free and fair elections is a complicated situation. What is not complicated is, and by the way, you know, this has been the theme of this committee for the whole year. I believe the committee has interviewed more than 30 witnesses, and every single witness behind closed doors has said that the government has never coerced, pressured, or threatened any social media company into taking any action. The whole premise of this theory falls apart. What we should be focusing on is Chairman Jordan abusing the power of his committee in the Congress to subpoena state prosecutors in an effort to undermine their prosecutions of his revered friend Donald Trump. That is no place for Congress to be, no place for the committee to be. That is a true weaponization of the federal government. And when we start talking about other things that are the real weaponization of the federal government, such as Donald Trump's statements that he will just indict his political enemies, or that he would use the Insurrection Act to deploy the military against civil protesters, Or even that he had argued his lawyers, one of whom has appeared twice here, is one of our favorite witnesses, John Sauer, actually said that if Donald Trump ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival, it could not be a crime unless he was impeached. Somehow that is a predicate. The fact of the matter is the true weaponization, the threat of weaponization is from Donald Trump and the Republicans, and we ought to move on from this charade. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentlelady from Florida.